Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Gustov's vlog. And a quick reminder, if you will please click like on this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Follow me or subscribe if you have not, and drop me a comment down below. So for those who've been following this series, Gustov is one of my youngest clients. He's 20 years old, and he is focused entirely on physique and bodybuilding. Not competitively, he just wants a really good physique. He cares about his look primarily, and strength is only a means to an end for him. And that's okay, because I coach everyone from up to elite powerlifters all the way to people who care about physique transformations. So accordingly, everything he does is really bodybuilder-ish. We don't really go under about 5 reps. And I know a lot of my people who do other physique stuff, we do maxes, but it's a lot of my gen pop people and things like that. In his case, we don't necessarily have to do any of that. So because I'm trying to just continue to build his muscle base, if we come up later and he says, hey, I want to test some maxes or see where we are with some stuff, we can do it, because we still go heavy on the barbell lifts, right? We're still doing, 5-6 rep stuff on the classic barbell lifts. But yeah, honestly, most of his training is up, about the 8 to 12 rep range, some stuff a little bit higher. Some of the smaller isolation work will go up to, 17, 18, maybe 20-ish. So we added some extra stuff this week. I feel like at this point I wanted to give him a second tricep exercise. He is an intermediate lifter, and we do a lot of pressing. We do flat bench, we do incline, and then we do dumbbell decline for chest. And then I've been doing rope press downs, but I'm also at a point where I'm like, another tricep exercise wouldn't be a bad thing at this point. Let's go ahead and get a little more development, because he's been getting more advanced as we go. And again, he's not ready to do any public physique updates, but he's made really good improvements there. When he's ready to show them, I'll show them. We're pretty happy with him. I think people will be surprised what he looks like when we do show it, because again, he's always got a shirt and shorts and everything on here, so no shirtless stuff. But yeah, he's come along really well. Got a great V taper, pretty small waist, really wide back, all that going on, wide shoulders now. So again, we gave him laying extensions there with an easy bar. So that's our 5 exercises on the press day. We're now up to 5 exercises on the pull day too. So we do weighted pull-ups. We do seated cable rows right now, because the barbell rows, we're messing with him and we don't have necessarily like a seal row. So I'm okay with, for that movement pattern there, us doing a cable row or a machine row. He was, like I said, he was getting nauseated with barbell rows, and that's okay. If I got a lifter who's puking in the middle of a workout, this is not helpful. It's not good. I don't care how good the exercise is, it's not going to work. We can't afford that. We can't afford to be losing that protein. So over to the next thing here, we do a cable row, again with the closer grip bar. I may take him over to a wider grip on that eventually, coming up to just again to make sure we get a little more rear delt and all that. But I like the close grip for the most part. I feel it's really good for lats. I feel it's really good for lat development personally. And then of course, to make sure we get the upper back fully developed there. So again, talking about things like rear delt straps, the incline bench. So I put him on an incline bench and have him do dumbbells. Of course, this is obviously going to be a little higher rep than the other stuff. I like about 12s for these personally when I do them in the past. Good exercise. So we hit the lats from 3 different angles, and we hit the biceps from a couple angles on this day. So right now I have him doing just strict barbell curls with a straight bar, right? Which he seems to respond well to. And then I recently added in preacher curls, right? So we have preacher curls added in. And again, making sure we're hitting those biceps from a couple angles. So again, if you guys, you're probably noticing a pattern here. Noticing a pattern. What do we do on the training? We focus on the big, most basic barbell movements, squat, bench, deadlift, incline bench, pull-ups, okay? We focus on the biggest compound movements, and then we fill everything else in behind it with dumbbells, with cables, with machines, with isolation work. So then we fill in the gaps. This is how I train my guys who are pursuing more physique stuff, moderately heavy on the big classic lifts, overhead press for him also, but we don't go all out heavy. I mean, their work sets is usually what I have them doing. Usually about that 5 to 8 rep range is a nice sweet spot on those movements, okay? And then we basically do high quality pump work afterwards. So in his case, so everything is strict. He's good at not ego lifting. He's good at taking sets either very close to failure or to failure. You'll notice most of his final reps, they're grindy, right? They're grindy without the form breaking down, and that's usually what I want to see. Just want to see that bar slow so that we know we got some work done. So then we have a separate shoulder day. And I don't always leave the shoulder day in for everyone. We don't leave it in for everyone. But in his case, natural guy, drug-free guy with physique goals who's not super advanced, we kind of do need a shoulder day. It's beneficial. So it's overhead press, upright rows. Then we do dumbbell laterals and we do rear delts. And that's 12 total sets. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. And considering all of them have splash over to the side delts, we get a lot of carryover to the front and rear from the other days. This is actually a lot of delt volume, right? Any way you break it down, it's a fair amount. With a lot of isolation in here. So let's talk a little bit about the leg day. His lats, actually wasn't a lat. We talked to me and I'm like, you pulled a thoracic erector squatting. So because he pulled a thoracic erector squatting, we went a little different on the leg day. I had him focus on just machines and good mornings. I don't normally have him do good mornings. You guys know I love good mornings. So I'm like, let's start learning the good morning. Because I don't care if you're a bodybuilder or a powerlifter, good morning works. So I had him basically do leg presses. We did good mornings, right? And then we just did various machines. He said he didn't have access to the machines, like I wanted leg extensions and stuff in here. He said a lot of the machines were tied up, so he couldn't even get to the calf raise because the gym, it was late and crowded. So he just did them with a barbell, which is fine. But he said coming up within the next 2 months, he's changing gyms. So we're going to get him in a better gym with access to more leg equipment. I would really like to see a really good leg press, slide, or hack squat for him. I feel like it would help us a lot with what we're doing, in addition to just barbell squatting. Because I can't squat these kids into the ground, We can't do that, especially for drug-free guys. As much as I love the squat, I don't like having them do, once they're an intermediate, more than about 3 sets a week is about the upper threshold. You guys can watch them finishing up all the leg stuff. The good mornings look pretty good here. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.